Hey hippies, welcome back. It's Courtney Shavante here, and I got another banging Cannabling tutorial for you guys. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also make sure to like this video and leave a thumbs up because it really helps with the algorithm and everything. I'm going to be showing you guys everything, including how I place these cute little charms. So to get started, we're going to prep about 40 milliliters of resin, and I already have it pre-mixed off camera. I'm just pouring that directly into the rim here, and I'm being sure that I have a nice even layer, and the 40 milliliters should guarantee that. These are the charms that I'm going to be adding, and the crystals and the glitter as well. So I start by placing the charms directly into the rim, and I make sure that they are facing downwards, so that way when it demolds, you are able to see like the little design on the charms and everything. So just make sure that you do have your charms face down, and you can use a toothpick to manipulate those. It's super easy and super simple. I promise you'll be able to switch it over before the resin starts hardening on you. Now I'm going to be adding in these green crystals. These are aventurine, and I'm not going to be adding a lot of them. I'm really essentially just adding about 3 crystals on each side of every leaf, so that's going to be about 6 per leaf and everything, just to kind of give it a little of color and whatnot, and just add a little bit dimension and stuff. You guys know I love going overboard and really, stacking and layering, and that's kind of what gets me the looks that I do and stuff. But once you get everything going, just continue to manipulate with that toothpick, and then we're going to allow that some time to cure. For this layer of the ashtray, I want to make this very colorful, and I also want to make sure it glows in the dark. So what I do first is I add in some of the glow pigment right into the 40 milliliters, and then I add in some alcohol ink. I like to add in the alcohol ink after the pigment because it helps it dissolve better into the resin. Then I just kind of mix in my glitter, as you can see here, and I'm just making sure that I have a good bit of glitter so that way it can still be seen in the colorant. Pour that resin directly into the rim on top of that other layer. You do want to try to avoid the base so that way the color doesn't get on there, and that way you also just don't waste any of the resin, because we know this resin can get kind of expensive sometimes, and I don't want you guys wasting any of your supplies. So after you finish scooping everything in there and getting all the resin from the cup, I want you to go ahead and take a heat gun and maneuver that around. This is going to thin the resin out and also release any trapped bubbles, especially with that glitter in there. The glitter makes it a whole lot easier for air bubbles to get trapped, so do make sure you watch out for that. I'm also going to take another toothpick and just get in between in those crevices, because on these leaves it can hold little micro bubbles, so do be careful of that. Alright hippies, so once that has cured, we're gonna have some fun here. So I prepped 140 milliliters of resin off camera, equal parts A and B, and I'm going to add in a good bit of this white mica powder that I have here. As you can see, I have a really big bag because I do use the white mica powder a lot more than the other colors. And I'm going to start by mixing that in very well, trying to break up all those little powder bits that may clump up and form as you're stirring. Next, I'm going to add in this white opaque alcohol ink. I got this from Pixis, and it works really well, and I love the price point, so I will make sure that that is linked below for you guys. So do make sure you check the captions for all the products I am going to be using in this particular tutorial. So I decided that it wasn't opaque enough, and I'm just adding in a little bit more of my mica powder just to get it to like a color that I want, and making sure that it's not see-through at all. And the mica powder is just going to make sure that I still have like some of those little milky colorways that I like. So I'm using green alcohol inks, and I'm wiping the base of my alcohol I'm sorry, I'm wiping the base of my mold really, really well with alcohol just to get any debris off so that way I can start dropping the alcohol ink directly onto the base. Now, from my last marble tutorial, I did learn that it's probably best to go ahead and add the colored ones first, because I noticed that the metallic colors seem to set onto the base of the mold a whole lot quicker than the metallic. So I'm drizzling on just a tad bit of that white resin, and then I'm coming in with this gold metallic color. I'm getting in these empty spaces and placing it very strategically and kind of randomly as well, if that makes sense. And then I'm just going to take the rest of that resin and pour in the remaining to go ahead and fill this ashtray. And I'm pouring it all around to make sure I'm disturbing all of the alcohol ink, and so I can make sure it's really sifting around and moving those alcohol ink colors around so it's not just blotted there. Next, of course, you're going to take that heat gun and just kind of pop those bubbles. If you have any alcohol spray, now would be a great time to use a little bit as well. And then you're just going to allow this to completely cure. All right, now don't fight me, but I did forget to get the demolding footage. I know you guys love it, but in my defense, I've done it a million times on here, but I will link another video at the end of this that does definitely have some footage similar to that, so that way you can see what that looks like if you are new here. But what I'm doing now is I'm making sure to add about 30 milliliters of resin to the base of this ashtray, and what this is going to do is it's going to seal everything in, especially since we did add color to the base of our mold, and this is going to give a nice, luxurious and very shiny finish and coating to your ashtray. And I totally recommend doing this step and never skipping it, especially if this is going to be an item you're going to be selling. Also, of course, be sure to get in there with that heat gun, and I really take my time during this part and really get in there with all those bubbles. I get in there with the stick again because since this is the very final layer, I want to make sure there's absolutely nothing in here, no debris or anything like that. I want to get all the micro bubbles out the way so they're not visible when everything is completely cured. So speaking of curing, we're going to leave that to do as such, and I will catch you guys on the glow show. Ta-da! Alright hippies, so here is our glow show. As you can see, this glow powder is magnificent. Again, all products I use will be in the description below, so make sure you check that out. I love how vibrant this is, and it just makes it so much easier if you are in the dark, because everything is still going to be very visible and you can still relax and, you know, have your little me time and everything. So so fetch. But this is what she looks like in the sunlight, and as you can see, she is even more beautiful in the light. I mean, just look at this marble effect and look at how it turned out. I'm gonna come in on the edge so you guys can see like where the crystals are, this aventurine and these charms. They look so beautiful up against that glitter background, and I love how I added that glitter in with the glow powder just because it gives it some more dimension and everything, and it also just looks so pretty as a background to the aventurine crystals and to those charms. Here's a close-up on what the marble looks like on the base of the ashtray. I am so obsessed with this technique. I'm going to be trying it on so many different things just to kind of see what it looks like and just to see what else I can do. I know you guys have been noticing that I've been really loving these metallic alcohol inks, and they're just so gorgeous. Like, look at the side of this. Look at how the sides are just so pretty. It looks like you really just slice into a piece of green marble. If you're rocking with this ashtray as much as I am, make sure you leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up, leave me some purple emojis down below to make sure I know you made it to this end of this video. And until next time, hippies, mwah, catch you next time.